What's poppin', what's goody? You're listening to By Any Means with your boy Zico Dan alongside my co-host Jumoke, CC Poetry, aka CC, and as I call her, Richie.
By Any Means
podcast.
Yo, welcome back to By Any Means. You know the vibes.
Yes, we are the vibes. Thank you very much for everyone that's watched our videos, that's subscribed, that's told a friend, tell a friend, that's given us feedback, that's a like. I said shared already, right?
No.
That's shared. There you go. And today we have a special guest to the left of me. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ashley Abigo. I'm a singer-songwriter and producer.
Oh, God. I'm laughing because you seem like you're at an interview.
Oh no, I mean, it could feel like that. It's my first time doing a podcast, so it kind of gives me that vibe.
Well, no need to be nervous.
I'm not nervous. I'm actually excited actually, because for me, it woke me up this morning, so I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes, just relax. Do whatever you feel you want to do. But you're being watched, just know that. But yeah. So unfortunately, guys, today we don't have Zico on. He was unable to make it. But as you know, we do this podcast by any means. So the show must go on, right? So, Serena.
Should we go on with today's topic then, yeah?
Yeah, let's do the topics.
Okay, so is maturity measured by experience or age?
Do you want to go first as you're our special guest today, or do you want us to kind of?
So what do you think? What do you think?
I personally think no, it's not. It's not. It's measured by experience than your age, because obviously you've got some kids, and due to certain circumstances, there might be all 10 kids in the house, and so the eldest one has to mature quicker. Yeah, so it's all about how long you've lived, what you've gone through.
So if you've gone through maybe a more harder life, then you're probably going to be a bit more mature.
Yeah.
In a sense.
You can't learn nothing without having to put into practice. So.
Exactly.
And for maturity doesn't have to be with just even the way you act. It can be maturity in how you do things. You know,
your state
how you
of
write,
mind,
how you speak, how you wake up in the morning, how you deal with emotional things. You know, how independent you are. You know, how much you can take care of yourself, how disciplined you are, and these are all the things that you would say a mature person would have. You know what I mean? I don't think it's something that's a mature person, because I think there could be a mature person and you can see they're very mature, but they will deal with certain things very immaturely.
Yeah.
So
different situations or different circumstances may bring out the immaturity in you. But then again, how the whole word maturity, where does it come from? Like, do you guys know?
Age. Because I mean, if you think about like cheese.
That's what I was thinking, to be honest.
I mean, it's like mature cheese. You're thinking, yes, aged a bit. So I would say maturity is due to age, but I think people try to make it as a personality. And I mean, I think saying someone's mature, I think there's a wide spectrum to maturity.
But also, what you might call mature, someone else might take it in a different sort of way.
Yeah, we can say that. I mean, everyone reads things differently. We're all different, and we'll perceive things differently compared to each other. So it depends. I mean, like I said, you just can't say someone's mature. You have to be mature with what? The mature
with wisdom, or what Ashley said, with experience, isn't it?
Yeah. So they're quite mature in relationships, but they're quite immature with their parents. You know, they're quite mature at school, and they come home Just literally.
That's the case in most cases.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people mature inside and go outside, and it's like they lose it. You know what I mean?
When I speak
like,
to the teachers at my son's school, they're always like, "Oh yeah, he's so lovely. Like he's helping me out with this student doing this, and then he's packing away, tidying up." I'm like, "Hold on a second, you don't do that at home."
exactly. You see what I'm saying? So,
Because that's his time to let loose. He's trying to be free, you know?
Yeah, showing everyone one side of him, showing me
but then on
something
the flip
totally
side
different.
now, there's you know people that I've met that at home they're so mature, they're like you know the whole greeting home respect and the moment you get outside you will not recognize this person. You be like, are you alright? Like, what happened?
I did some research on it, and it actually says, right, and forgive me if I say your name wrong,
Ashley.
but well, according to Zayad K. Adenor, maturity is not measured by age, it's built by experience. You can say you were stupid in year 2010 and now you're a well-mannered individual in 2021 but if you fast forward to 2025 you'll feel you behaved silly in 2021. Often when you hear your parents talking about maturity, you hear them refer to their children as being either immature or mature. Actually, maturity is not an either or quality. It is something that children acquire over time as they learn skills and develop their capacity to deal with the complexities of life. At any given moment, children are in various phases of growth and maturity with regard to the following areas: physical maturity, emotional maturity, social, intellectual, and ethnical, moral maturity.
So I was kind of right.
So yeah, there's different levels, different aspects, different
I'm quite
areas.
Quite impressed with that. You look at me like, damn. Ooh, I got more for you. I mean, how I see things is like I empathize with I don't really think too much of myself. I think collectively, and I can empathize with people that I've never met. So when I think about it like that, and I always look behind the problem behind the problem behind the problem.
Yeah, because there is always a reason for why someone might act or think a certain way. Like whether it's something trauma that they've gone through in the past, or again that goes down to experiences and circumstances.
Because mature is like an identity, and I feel like I had I don't know, let's create this terminology, kind of like a maturity identity crisis. And it's like, I consider myself to be mature, but a lot of people different circles, different people in my social circles consider me immature. Like at football, people think I am so immature. When I tell them my age.
How can you be immature about football?
Honestly, they
but
think...
how are you immature? What do you do?
Look, they think I am so immature at football, because I'm very vibrant, I come in, I'm always joking, I'm never serious about anything, and you couldn't even get in a fight with me unless you're just mad at how happy I am. But they find me so immature because I embrace my youth. I just embrace my youth. But people just widely deem that as immature because you're childlike, not childish.
Yeah.
I'm childlike. So even when they'll ask my age, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but when I tell them my age,
there's certain times and places where you can embrace your inner child.
Yeah.
Because like me, I love to go to theme parks and all that sort of stuff. But then at work, obviously they'll see a different side to me because of you're in that professional environment. So yeah, like I said, there's
whatever you at end the podcast.
But that's the thing, because in football, I actually when I'm going football, it's like a ritual for me. It's like a place where I go to let go, and I can't be serious because it's for me. I don't go there to play and be competitive.
Yeah.
And the only competition I'm having is with myself. I want to win as a team, and I don't mind if I lose.
But then you want to have fun at the same time.
It's not even the fun. It's a mental thing for me. It's like all I'm doing, I'm being childlike while in that state, I am looking at everything I took so serious for the whole week, and I'm just using my childlike thing to look at me like, oh, why am I bothered about that? You know what?
Your release, isn't it?
I'm too stressed about this when it's actually possible to actually tackle this situation. So, or you know what? This is overwhelming me. Now I can let it go and be free. In that moment, it's like I use it as like a therapy. So yeah. So, but once I'm out of there, you know, so they in that circle would always see me as immature because this is what I come there to do. And when I tell them I have kids, they go, "What? You responsible for children?" Because I'm so carefree, you know. It's like I'm like someone who doesn't have responsibilities, but that's what they'll perceive there. And then when you see me around my kids now, you would not recognize me again. You'd be like, "Hold on, that's not guy from football." Because then I'll be like, "Hi, you're right." I'm more like, you know, in daddy mode.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking out for every danger that is possibly coming or probably never going to come.
Yeah.
So I'm in like daddy mode. Like I'm guarding my kids, or you know, my focus is on them, and I know what I need to do and what maturity that I need to uphold to do with that. It's the same thing, even like with an argument, right? You have two options. You can be like, I'm gonna shout you back. You know what? And then you can be like, you know what? Let me just not let whatever is coming at me distract me from the point that, you know, we
would you
can maturely
say
approach
maturity would be to, in that sort of situation, to sort of walk away?
But why?
Yeah.
But why is
It's almost
it?
like a choice.
Why is it?
It's not an identity.
Why, for some instances, that is classed as mature, not to argue back or not necessarily argue, because it might not be an argument. It might just be a thing. Whereas you need to say what you need to say, and then obviously after that it's done. On your end, anyway.
Yeah.
So why is that not necessarily classed? Why walking away classed as more mature?
No, but I
than
think like
saying
we
what
should
you
just
need to say?
eliminate the fact that mature is not an identity. It's just a choice, and being mature is able to make choices, like you know, that you know does not escalate anything. You know what I mean? Do things calmly, you know, or to be able to
Sort of reflect on what you're about to say before. Before you make matters worse.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, it's like you listed a couple things that was in that thing, which is the, like social, like you know,
physical,
life, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're talking about. So when you talk about maturity, it's you have to like almost pin down on what is the main thing that people are very immature about. So that can open even doors to more questions, like you know, more things to look into. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are parents that are also immature as well. Like, I mean, I'm not
that's
gonna
you,
talk.
yeah.
I mean,
sometimes.
Look.
I can
I
be.
can make an example of my mum.
We
Right?
all
I
can
can
be
make an
like,
example
why
of my
not?
mum. I can say my mum.
I think it could be also, to be fair, I remember seeing something, and the person said, "How do we know how a 30-year-old feels? We've never been 30, so how do we know how a 30-year-old is supposed to be or supposed to feel? We don't ever technically we don't necessarily ever feel our age
by speaking to them.
Yeah, but you don't technically never feel your age.
But this is the thing.
You don't know what it feels like.
But this is the thing, right? As a child, my peers, let's say when I was 6 years old, I remember, my peers would usually laugh at old people, but I didn't laugh at old people. I didn't laugh how wrinkly they used to laugh how wrinkly they were, make little jokes and you know. But I was more intrigued because I've kind of figured out a lot of things at an early age. I think I kind of woke because I realizing, oh my god, what am I doing here? Like, what is this? Like, I was like, damn, like. You know, I remember a lot of things. I'm like, why are they laughing? I'm trying to figure out why they were laughing at 3 years old. But while my peers, you know, were laughing at old people, I would spend more time speaking with older people because I realized I'm growing. I realized I was getting closer and closer to the fridge stuck in the fridge. So I realised.
I wasn't waiting. Sorry,
You know what I'm saying, right?
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 I was the fridge.
You know what I mean? So I'm seeing that over time, it's not so high to me. So I realised I am going to grow, and one day, inevitably, I would be like these adults, these giants. I saw them as giants, right? It's kind of the energy I looked at them like the giants. So I knew that one day I would be like them. So as a curious person, I wanted to know how it feels. So I always loved when I always asked them to tell me stories. I used to love speaking to like the elderlies as well, like just telling them, like, you know, asking them. I used to be like, how does it feel to be old? So but even a child asking that question, it should. I mean,
how would we respond to it?
If a child was to ask me, how does it feel to be an adult? That's a great moment, you know, to share with that child, because look, for that child, it's a moment of realization. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm asking a question, I mean, I'm realizing something that that I am existing in a realistic way, because we seem to be stuck in this, like, you know, phase that we live forever. You know, we forget that, you know, tomorrow is a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, and we forget because we just fall, you know, in so much in chores that we have to do through the day that we forget about life itself, like what it means to be alive itself. So realizing that, I would always speak with elderly people, and I find they gave me a lot of wisdom. My grandma used to tell me a lot of things that I realized in this day. I'm like, oh, that's what she was talking about. And there's some things.
So it's now sinking in them things.
There's some things I can't even. Some things she's told me I can never ever solve, and bless her, she's gone. But I wish someone could help me solve that puzzle.
See, the one thing I've stopped doing is because of, I hear people say, especially to like the younger generations, oh, you're 16, you're supposed to be a certain way. Oh, you're 21, you're supposed to be like this. Why are you acting like that? So I've actually stopped.
Yeah.
I've actually stopped saying that, and instead I speak to them in a way of, right, what's the reasons behind why you're behaving a certain way, and get them to actually think about what it is that they're doing. Like, I find that sort of communication actually gets
it works better.
Yeah, it gets through to them a lot better, a lot quicker as well, for them to actually sit down, reflect, and then to move forward.
Yeah, that's a good way. I mean, like, that's how I deal with my daughters. To be fair, like, I don't ever like throw age at them. I don't, because it's like it only if people develop in their own pace, right? And if someone's developing, they're like 19 and they're 17, and you tell them, oh, where you should be like, you know, the 19 with the mind is like 17, and you just, that's your perspective.
Yeah.
You have to always remember that's our perspective of what's been told to us, how we should be, and we don't even know all of it, and can't even do all of it, because there's always someone that's even more mature than us anyway. Because while we think we've got it, you know, have you ever met that person that think they've got everything? They know everything. They're so mature.
Little own jokes there.
A few years ago, I went to Jamaica. Normally, it's me and my mum, but this one time I was there on my own for 2 months with my grandma, and it's the first time I actually managed to sit down and have like a meaningful conversation with her.
Okay.
And it's actually really good, because she gave me some nice advice as well, because she was talking about all her jobs that she's had and the reason why she came to England and all that sort of stuff. And then she mentioned about this one typewriting job that she had, and the people asked her, oh, can you type? And she told them yes, but really and truly she hadn't done it a day in her life. Right? And yeah, so she started the job, and she basically learnt as she went along. They didn't know this, but she just
in this.
Yeah, she was copying others, and she just learnt as she went along.
She started pretending like to type for them. The first day, it's just like when someone's coming, she's like.
It was just, but as what she was, the one thing she did say to me is, so don't let nobody tell you that you can't.
You can't, yeah, of
like
course.
because you can. All you have to do is just practice and teach yourself, and then eventually you'll be perfect at whatever it is you're doing. So it was nice sitting there talking to her giving me that type of advice.
Yeah.
And because then, like, obviously I know that she's like lived a lot longer than I have, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But
yeah.
You have to respect someone that's ahead of you sometimes. Like,
no, all the time. Because they even though we live a hard life, they lived a harder life. So every generation hopefully will live a less harder life. Do you know what I'm saying? They lived a hard life.
And that's a good point, because, like, you know, like, the relationship, like I was always friends with my mum, right? Because I learned a lot of, like, things through her. And even the bad experiences, you know, with my mother, like, let's say, like, through the heated moments, I learned a lot of things about. So, like, sometimes I was able to sit back and respect the fact that I know where they've come from, and you can learn and have gratitude for where you are now, because they had it so hard. And this is when I started to, like, not even, like, rebel and, like, you know, say, understand, you know what, I am just gonna make you feel at peace, just because I understand where you've come from, but I will still do what I need to do in the era that I'm born to work in. This is what you just add an experience. You have to take the experience and add it onto yours. And this is also maturity as well. Like, this is how you can speak to, like, being mature is being able to also understand others as well. If someone was gonna square up to you, you're not gonna be mature and walking away. No, you have to understand why you're walking away and what it benefits to walk away.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hopefully it depends on the person. Obviously, if you stop another person's, might have arms.
But maturity,
you're not gonna try and fight them, are you? That's
rule.
cool. That's a bit more about common sense.
But maturity can overrule someone else's decision.
True, and vice versa.
Look, if a lady's coming screaming at me, no, you did that, what's wrong with you, I can be like, hey, what do you mean, or I can just be like, you know what, you have a good point. You're actually right. I don't feel like, you know, I should have done this or done that. And, you know, that's the mature way of doing it.
I suppose it all depends on whether it is, like, family, friends, if you've seen the person, like, before. Like, a lot of things come into account. Because obviously, if it is a close friend or family, then like Jumake was saying earlier, like, you might just want to get what you need to say out there and then. Like, cause it obviously brings, sometimes if you mention your feelings, then sometimes that can bring you closer, because of you've aired it out, you've gotten through it, and then you can move forward.
So I see, like, you know, there's also maturity, like, dealing with people. So, like, how about, like, maturity when it's nothing to do with anything, you know, with a second person? How do you demonstrate maturity individually?
What, when dealing with, like, your own personal development?
Personal stuff. Because this is the bit, right? This is the bit where it solves the problem. Because we don't deal with things maturely with ourselves, and then we take it out there and we put it out in the world, and we pass that energy on to people. So how do we maturely deal with ourselves? What does it mean to be mature as an individual, where it starts with you?
Very, 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 very good question.
Because I would say this is where people need to learn about, like, sort of meditation. They need to learn about
Therapy?
There's a lot of different types of therapy that you can go to. Because it weren't until, like, a few years ago I actually started to learn about drama therapy. So if you don't, if talking to someone doesn't help, then drama therapy, and they do it for adults as well, and they allow you to sort of put yourself in certain situations, and then you have to sort of understand why you would react a certain way and get it out that way.
That's so good.
So rather than just sitting there chatting, how do you feel today? Like, could they allow you to act out certain scenes? And that was actually one bit I was into at one point.
Did you go there quite often?
I didn't do it myself, but I wanted to get into it as a career.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Well, maybe that will be happening very soon. Watch out for our drama therapist. So, CC Poetry, apart from drama therapy,
Yeah.
I know that you could write poems. So, I think it's time that we hear something. Is it in relation to this topic by any chance? Or is it not?
Sort of.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's all good.
It's basically along the lines of, you know, when somebody asks you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The way you said that just tells me all I need to know.
Yeah, like, let me see what you think. Don't you just despise the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself hibernating, a crouched potato on the sofa drinking beers? Do you see yourself in the same position, stuck, an icicle ready to melt, with nowhere to go, frozen, praying for snow? Do you see yourself progressing, climbing the ladder, or realising that the thoughts and opinions of others, in fact, doesn't matter? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? A stronger individual, conquering all fears, no longer looking for validation, living your best life with no repercussions, exploring the world or appreciating being alone. Stop following the media like a robot or a drone. Maybe you'll be at ease with where you are, your intuition's on the rise, higher and higher, setting the bar. Live every day like it's your last, ticking off your bucket list, living life fast. Where do you see yourself? Complacent and cared for? Where do you see yourself? Ask me tomorrow. I'll be home from work about 4.
That's nice. I find that amazing. It's kind of like in tune with everything I've been thinking this whole week.
Really?
Yeah, it's like things I say to myself, like in basically, but you just put it in a beautiful way.
Well,
Oh,
maybe there could be a collabo. So,
I love it.
yes, Ashley, I know you introduced yourself as a singer.
So I made that mistake as well, you
Songwriter.
know. I made that same mistake. I'm not the only one, thank God.
Oh, go away.
Singer, songwriter.
Anyway, so, I mean, you gave us a brief that you are a singer, a producer, a writer.
Songwriter.
He dances too. Go on his TikTok. Yeah, why did you introduce yourself like that? Like, I thought you were gonna be like, you know, a bit more like,
Oh,
I wanted you to come. I wanted you to give us a little sample, just a little something.
I didn't come as Ashley Big. I came as well, I did come as Ashley Big. not the singer.
Okay, so you came as
I came as the talker today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, next time I hope that you could share some thing with the audience, for our audience. I hope.
Yeah.
But feel free to give your handles so they can know where to find you.
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, whichever social media on at Ashley Abigo. Ashley, the same way you write it, Ley, Abigo, a big O.
All one word, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys. We're gonna put his handle in the comments, and then you can always go and click on there, go and follow, like, share, give him feedback. He does all types of music, from Afrobeats to R&B, which I was listening today, which I was privy to listen today, exclusive. Afrobeats, R&B. I think you did a little bit of drill one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically everything. I've heard apart from classical music, I've heard every type of genre.
I've got a classical, not kind of
seriously?
classical music, but it's kind of like that, but it's like kind of like orchestral.
Like a little twist.
Kind of like an orchestral ballad.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
It's called Somebody Says on YouTube.
Okay. We're gonna put that down there too. After this, I'm gonna go listen to that and have it and give it a little like. Maybe write a comment too.
And if you wanna find me, you can see me on ccpoetry_writing content on both Instagram and TikTok.
If you want to find me to like, comment or share, you could find me on the one and only _Jumoke1.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us.
Thank you. It's a
We
pleasure.
might just have you on another podcast session.
I would definitely come.
You would come back?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Ooh. Lovely, lovely.
Thank you. I might take Ezekiel's place.
So if you wanna visit By Any Means, you will find us on Instagram at byanymeans_theofficialpodcast. Facebook is just By Any Means, and TikTok is By Any Means with the number 6.
So continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you another time on
By Any Means. Bye.
What's goody, what's poppin'? This has been By Any Means. You've been listening with Zico Dan, Jumoke, CC Poetry, aka CC, and as I call her, Richie. We out.
We out, people.